Okay, so this is going to be a different type of video today. This isn't going to be a card trick performance or tutorial. This is actually going to be the first ever Magic Q&A. So all this week I have had a few subscribers comment what they wanted to see for a video. So yesterday was a card trick tutorial and performance request by Sean McDowell. And today is going to be a little Magic Q&A, so you can get to know about me a little better, by Jorge Anido. So Jorgeanido. Jorge Anido. So I have all the questions here on my phone, and I have all of my answers. So I'm just going to read off the questions and talk a little bit about it, and that'll be the video today. Nothing too bad. If there's anything you want to see for tomorrow, leave it down in the comments. And I think that's everything. So let's start the video, or the Q&A. So Jorge typed, "It'd be cool to hear stories of performers. What is your ideal setting? I always like to hear how performers handle mistakes or difficult spectators. Also, what are your 5 favorite tricks to perform? Are there effects or moves you're working toward, goals trying to reach? For me, one thing I'm still working toward is learning bottom deal. Just taking me forever. LOL. There are a few thoughts on things I'd be interested in seeing. Keep up the great work." So thank you for that, Jorge. So, what's my ideal setting? So for me, my ideal setting would be having to sit down. So whether there's a table or a surface and there's a chair around, I want to sit down. I'll actually link my story down below. Card Mechanic posted on his community tab. But basically, I'll just tell you real quick why I perform sitting down. When I was around 10 years old or so, I had surgery on both of my feet. Now, for the surgery, I was born without an arch. So when people are born, their feet, they have an arch. Now, I didn't have an arch, so I was totally flat-footed. So like this. So they went in and they took some titanium plates, which were arches, and they put them in to give me an arch. Now, my feet hurt whenever there's bad weather, whenever I have to stand for a long time. Could be anything, my feet will hurt. So, when my feet do hurt, I prefer to sit down. So, it doesn't make it awkward, because when my feet hurt, I go from side to side. So that could be good or bad for Magic, I'm not sure. For me, it's awkward. So I prefer sitting down so my feet don't hurt and everything is how it is. So everything's good. But if I do have to stand, I usually do a trick that doesn't take that long. Usually a minute or two. So one of those quick fire tricks. So that's what I would prefer, sitting down. So I can do the trick right there. But if I do have to stand up, because sometimes there aren't any tables, I'll just do a quick trick like, I don't know, slop. If any of you know the slop trick, where you have the card selected, you put it back in the deck, you give it the sloppy shuffle, and you show how it's all mixed up. You snap your fingers, and all the cards are the same way except one, and that's their card. That's the trick I would do. So to answer your question, sitting down. Now for this next one, it says, "It'd be cool to hear stories of performers. I always like to hear how performers handle mistakes or difficult spectators." So I'm just going to read off what I wrote here. So how I used to handle mistakes, because I've been doing Magic, well, I got back into Magic in the 10th grade. Then I've been doing it ever since. So how I like to handle mistakes is, when I mess up, doesn't happen very often, I used to say, "Well, I messed up, the trick, so the trick ends right there and not perform again. That's what I used to do, which was embarrassing. But now that I've been doing Magic longer and I know a lot more moves, how I will do it is that I will do the trick, and during the trick, doesn't matter if there's going to be a mistake or not, I always get a peek at their card, so I know what it is and I remember it. So if I do mess up, I can either do one of two things. I either act like that was part of the trick, or I say, that wasn't your card, what was your card? Now I know what their card is, but I don't want them to think that I know what their card is. So while I'm going through the deck, looking for their card, they'll be saying their card, and then I will do a call. So, if you don't know what a call is, let's grab this deck here. I'll bring the camera down and try to show you. So, I'll be talking about these at the end. But if you don't know what a call is, essentially, you have a card. So let's say the 10 of hearts, and you can just call it right to the top. So that's what I would do now. So now, getting back into it, I would do a call and bring their card either to the top or the bottom of the deck. Now, if I do the bottom of the deck, I would do the back in time card trick. If you want me to make a video on that, just leave a comment down below. And if I bring it to the top, I would do a different trick. So either way, I get a peek at their card, I do a call, so I act like it's going to be part of the trick, and then I just go into a totally new trick. So I hope that answers that question. So the next question here is, how do I deal with difficult spectators? Okay, so here's how I do that. I used to not do this, but now that I'm a lot more confident, I do it. So how I deal with difficult spectators is this way. So I get a peek at their card. So there's a few ways you can do that here. So let's say you have a card. So let's say you have the King of Clubs. Now I wouldn't know that. So any way you want to, you can get a peek at their card. So I would shuffle, bring their card to the bottom. So now it's on the bottom. So then you can continue to shuffle, keep it on the bottom. And then when they're all messy, I would do a low square up, see what their card is, bring it back to the top, and then I would proceed with the trick. Now, sometimes what I might do is I'll let them have their card and I'll get a peek at it, and then I'm talking and I'll actually palm out their card, and then when it's palmed out, they'll be able to shuffle the deck. That's how I do it for that. So, if they want to see the top card, what I might say is, are you sure you want to see the top card? And then I'll do palm their card. But I'll also say, didn't you see the card go in the pack and get shuffled? And then while doing that, I'll look them in the eye for conversation. And then with their card palmed, I will extend my hand and my arm with the deck to their eye, and I'll just let them shuffle their focus on this, take their selection, and load it into my pocket for some sort of card to pocket routine. So to break that all down, because I know I went a little everywhere on that, what I might do is I might get a peek at their card either way, and then palm off their card and let them shuffle. Or I'll just get a peek at their card, then let them shuffle and do a call and bring it where I need to. So either way, I will peek at their card. So how do I handle groups of difficult spectators? So, same thing as before. I get a peek at their card, I let them shuffle the deck, then I might palm the card in my pocket. If I do that, I might do a card to pocket or a different thing. If I end up not wanting to do a card to pocket, I'll then take their card out and I'll usually do the Triumph Out of This World routine. And I'll link that down below too if you want to see that. The thing with that is you'll need to get the card into the second position. So one way I might do that is their card is palmed, they hand the deck back, I look them in the eye, I start talking, and then I can do a false shuffle. So I take off this half with their card, I put one card down, and then I do a false shuffle. And in doing that, you get their card second to the top. So that is how I might do that there. Now another way I could do is when I get to the top of the deck where the card is supposed to be second, I look all of them in the eye and I have the one person that picked the card have all the spectators around form a little circle and discuss what the card was and what happened during the trick so far. And then because of how distracted everyone is, I can then finish the shuffle because they're all huddled together. So basically what I'm talking about here is their card is on top. I'm going to do a shuffle. I have them form a circle and talk about what happened. And then I control it to the second position in case that didn't make sense any. So, second position. And then I also have them tell each other the card because you don't want any of them to not know the card. You want everyone to remember the card. And then for Out of This World part, I have each spectator do a part of the dealing if they think it's red or black, except for the two people that pick the card. Because if you watch the video down below, there's the one part where they pick the card, and it's the other way in the whole deck. And then for this part, they chose a different card. So, say the 5 of clubs. And then they're going to be, this will actually go in the red pile if you watch my tutorial. And then they're going to deal if they think it's red or black. So that's what I do there. So, what are my top 5 favorite tricks to perform? Now, these are in no particular order because I don't have a favorite trick. I just do whatever trick is in my mind. I always keep a list of these tricks in my mind. If you want me to make a video on any of these, I will. But if I already have the video, I'll link that down below. So the first one is from 1,000,000 Card Tricks, and it's Impromptu Magician Fooler, Impossible Card Trick Performance and Tutorial. So basically, I'll give you a quick rundown. How this one is the spectator thinks of a number, and they also have a card. Now, out of all this shuffling and everything, you, without even seeing the deck, because you can be turned around, you already know their number and their card, so you can produce it in a magical way, I'll call it. Now, this second trick here is the Triumph Out of This World routine, which I already have a tutorial on, so I'll link that down below too. The third one I already have a tutorial on. This is the perfect prediction trick. So the deck is shuffled, you choose 4 cards out of 10, you add them up to a certain value, you add those up, and your prediction matches the card that comes out with that number. This next one is Amazing Prediction Card Trick by Tricklandia. So this used to be the only trick I would perform because it would fool everyone. So you get a prediction for a card, and then you have a few piles. You add those up to whatever number it's supposed to be, and then that prediction matches the card. And then I have the Learn How to Send a Card Back in Time by Sankey Magic. So this one is the back in time trick. So essentially you have a card selected, King of Clubs again, is lost in the deck. All of the cards are one way. And then you show how these are all different. And then you say your card here was the Two of Diamonds. And you'll be like, no. So then you turn it over and you show the King of Clubs, but all the cards are back to normal. So that's that trick. And I think the last one here, well, last question. Finally, any effects or moves you are working towards. Okay, so one of the moves I'm working towards is the classic pass here. Okay, so this is perfect, so I can also do the call too. I don't think the first time it worked that well. So, looks like there's a bit of a blur here. So can you see that 8 of Hearts? I call it to the top. So that's what a call looks like. So that's one of the moves I'm still working on. Another move I'm working on would be the classic pass. Because I used to always do the overhand shuffle control. But sometimes I can mess up. So, for the classic pass, I'm not the best at it still, so gotta excuse me. You take the 8 of Hearts, and then you can pass it to the top. I know I flashed there, but I'm still working on it. So another move I'm working on is the bottom deal, like Jorge. So there's a few tricks I've planned that involves a bottom deal, like any card at any number. So essentially you get a card selected, let's say the 5 of Spades. Spectator can shuffle the deck, and then essentially just going to be bottom dealing a whole bunch of cards. So let's say that many. And then when you get to their number, you can take out their card. So you let me know what you think about that. Another move I'm still working on would have to be the second deal. So just like the bottom deal, the second deal. So I used to do this type of second deal where you have the card like this. Then you take them out. But now I'm working on the second deal, so it looks like I'm just taking the top card out. Now, I haven't exactly started working on this, but it is on my list. And finally, the last thing I'm working on, it's not essential, but just the one-handed shuffle. Just looks really cool. So I think that answers all of the questions. I know I went a little fast because this video, from the looks of it, yeah, almost 20 minutes. So, I hope you enjoyed this. For these decks, I'm going to make another video on them right after this, and actually explain what these decks are. Because I thought one of the questions was, what are your top 5 favorite decks? But it turns out it's top 5 favorite tricks. Obviously, these aren't 5 decks. So I'll just be talking about these in another video. So I hope that answered all the questions. And if it did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time for the next video. Bye.